But when we look at healthcare, healthcare is consumed by the elderly, right? I mean, when we break down the cost of care in the United States, and it's pretty representative rest of the world, about 45% of care, from a dollar's perspective, is spent on the top 5% of the population. So if you start to think about the top 5% of the sickest, right? That typically is people 65 and over. They're not big into technology. Connectedness to them is scary. They don't use cell phones. The idea, yeah, they might get on Facebook or they might check email, but for me to say to them, I'm going to connect you with your doctor because the doctor really doesn't want to waste his time with you coming into the office because it costs too much money. That's not what they want. They want that intimate relationship, but not in a way that we do on Facebook where we get to see, somebody posted where they were for drinks with their friends and we all get excited about it. And how we as a society care for the aged, both from social services, from healthcare and things like that, is really, I think, at the core of what we're looking at in Philips Healthcare now. I wrote down a couple of themes. So the ecosystem, so I think all of the ideas of person to person, person to machine, that is dramatically changing in healthcare. And there's been tons written in the kind of the popular press and in the refereed literature about the changing ecosystem and providing connected care for a patient. The problem is often that patient isn't an active participant in it. And everyone's like, well, why is telehealth so slow on the uptake? Why doesn't telemedicine make a difference? Well, the fact is, if you can't get the 80-year-old to get on the scale to see if they've retained body weight or have body weight increase because they're in heart failure, well, then it doesn't matter whether the doctor's looking at the information or the visiting nurse is going to change their schedule. And so we have this confounding factor, which is the patient doesn't really participate in what we want to do from a connected world. Yet, that's where the industry's going. How do we develop these ecosystems?
So you don't think technology's going to catch up with that? So I'll tell you a company I just invested in. They make these slippers for people older,
right.
Elderly folks. Collects 20 data points. One of those being, if you've fallen, gotten up, if there's an accelerometer in the slipper. So we're finding that there might be ways to sort of passively capture that thing.
So then you hit the other problem, which is they don't like Big Brother, right? So Philips has a product. We do medication dispensing, and we know when you've taken your medications or not. But does your dad want you guys to know that he did or didn't take his Viagra? Maybe not, right? Does your mom want you to know, or want their doctor to know that they haven't taken their high blood pressure medication because maybe they don't have the money to do it and they're embarrassed about that? So certainly we can look at passive monitoring as a way to kind of invade that privacy, but privacy is a big theme for us in a connected world. We take for granted what we do on Facebook, and to Ron's point, we project that onto the senior population, and we, time after time, find that they don't enjoy the same types of things we enjoy. And I think when we look at the populations that are going to disrupt what happens with society, if 20% of the United States GDP is going to be spent on healthcare inside of the next 10 years, and that's representative of the challenges that China has, that India has, that Brazil has, we have a massive problem in front of us. And hopefully connectedness, in one form or another, is how we can solve that problem. So we'll see where the conversation goes. But those are the types of things that we're looking at, and we don't have the answer either. Right? I mean, I think for us, I've been in this industry in medical devices for almost 25 years. And to your point, when I started with ultrasound, we all knew what was over the horizon. But now, as fast as we think it's going to be this, there's a startup that does that. And Philips moves very, very slow.